So the anti-fracking Misperton is packing up as we speak. The protesters claiming victory. Third Energy is saying no, they're keeping their options open. It's going on the same day that we're hearing from the MP for Scarborough and Whitby, Robert Goodwill, who says testing has taken place on his farm at Terrington near Malton to see if fracking is a viable option there. As I say, it comes as Third Energy continues to wait for final approval from the government to carry out fracking at Kirkby Misperton. Robert Goodwill has been telling our political reporter Gemma Dillon that he's got no concerns about fracking on his land.
This gas is under our feet. The scientists, the technicians, the environmentalists, the experts tell us that this can be done safely, and I'm inclined to listen to them. And I'm, together with Kevin Hollingray, think that we should deliver this technology because much of the gas around the world is in politically unstable places in the Middle East, places in Russia. And I think having this resource under our feet and exploiting it in a sustainable and safe way is a great way to help not only our economy in the United Kingdom, but help the very many people struggling to pay their gas bills, particularly when the weather is as cold as it is now.
We know you're a farmer. With that comes land, and you've actually had tests take place on your land, haven't you?
Yeah, large parts of the county have already had geological testing done where they set off small explosions and then measure the echoes. I don't know if there's gas under my farm or not, but you know, I've no fears for my area if this were to happen on my particular farm.
It's something you're completely comfortable with?
Yeah, it's a short-term project. In fact, we had a big drilling rig many years ago, just not about a mile away from my farm, drilling at the time for conventional gas. So, if that resource is there, I think we should use it and use it for the benefit of the country and ensure that, as we've been promised by all the experts, that this will not affect the environment, it will not affect people's health. And I think it's just disappointing that many of the objectors don't actually pay much attention to the science and prefer to listen to some of the spurious stories that are circulating on the internet and frightening people unnecessarily about the impact of this.
When will you find out if there is anything under your land?
I don't know. I mean, we're not party to the information, but there is gas and indeed coal under large parts of North Yorkshire. We're not going to go start mining coal again. That does damage the environment. It does cause subsidence. But we know that this fracking technology can get the gas, which is there under our feet, and use it to the benefit of our people and our economy. The government is very much committed to this. And indeed, it's interesting when you look at the process site. There's not many local people there. There's a lot of rent-a-mob people from around the country who protest against everything. But I think local people, in the main, understand that we are listening to expert advice from the engineers and the environmentalists. And if this government didn't think it can be done safely, why would we be doing it? What is there in it for us as a government to do something that would be so damaging, we're told, to the environment that nobody would ever vote for us again?
So you're not worried that if there were gas, it would put you at odds with perhaps people down the road who didn't want fracking in the area?
Well, I think what I think by that stage we will have seen sites in Lancashire and Yorkshire developed, and some of the scare stories that have been circulating will have been shown to be just that.
Robert Goodwill, who says that if it's sustainable and safe, which he says it is, it's a valuable commodity for the nation and has no fears about fracking on his land if it proves that he has the wherewithal to have fracking on his land. Well, it's been announced that the anti-frackers are to pack up the protection camp at the site where Third Energy are hoping to frack at Kirkby Misperton. Last month, Energy Secretary Greg Clark ordered the start of drilling at Kirkby Misperton to be put on hold pending an investigation into the financial resilience of the company Third Energy. Well, following that statement, Third Energy started removing equipment and North Yorkshire Police have stopped patrolling the site. So is this the end of the road for fracking at Kirkby Misperton, or is it merely a postponement and the standoff between protesters and the fracking company could recommence later on? Well, Lee Coghill is one of the anti-fracking campaigners at the protection camp, and presumably, Lee, you're busy packing up and moving out.
Yeah, it's been quite windy, but we came here to stop Third Energy from fracking that well.
I'm afraid we're going to have to, unless we can get a clearer signal, Lee, we're not going to be able to hear from you. So, well, I'll ask you one more question, see how the line holds up. You're saying that it's victory for you. Third Energy are saying, well, no, they're just postponing it and keeping their options open.
Sure. Well, the reality is that they're not in a position to be able to frack. And that community resistance has been the reason for that. We've delayed them, drawn scrutiny on them, and now they're going to have to look at how they're going to improve their financial resilience and their pipeline, which is integral to their fracking plans, but doesn't have any planning permission, or at least it won't come May.
And what do you make of the news today that Robert Goodwill is looking at seeing if fracking is possible on his land at his farm in Terrington?
I think it's very interesting that, this is not just an issue of Kirby Misperton. This is an issue affecting people in Terrington, all across Malton and indeed Rydal and the rest of North Yorkshire. So it really shows, it's not surprising that Robert Goodwill, who was a Tory whip, is following the party line. But what is more interesting is that the landowners across the rest of that region are having more concerns and are, coming to much different conclusions to Mr. Goodwill. And it's going to affect the whole region.
He argues you don't listen to the science, but you're more bothered about conspiracy theories online.
Do you know, that's so interesting, though, that the conspiracy theory of global warming. Maybe he takes the Donald Trump approach to that, but definitely we are following the science and we are very concerned, and we would encourage Mr. Goodwill to maybe check his sources.
And he also says you're not local, you're a rent-a-mob.
A rent-a-mob? That's interesting, nationally important issue, but I think people who are local are called NIMBYs as well, so I'm not really sure who it is that's allowed to have a say about whether the air and the land and the water is poison, but there you have it.
All right, Lee. Listen, we're going to have to end it there. Sadly, the phone line's not the greatest quality, but I appreciate your time tonight. Thanks very much for joining us. Lee Coghill there, one of the anti-fracking campaigners at the Protection Camp, which we're hearing is packing up. They're claiming victory as there is no fracking going on at the Third Energy site at Kirby Misperton. Of course, Third Energy say they're just keeping their options open. It's BBC Radio York.